I've been really enjoying watching my old apartment rot on the market, dude. They were asking for too much initially when they tried to float it. He wanted some scenario where he like kept us in a little longer month to month. And it's like, he can't have your cake and eat it too. He put it on for way more than it was worth. Nobody bought it. And he keeps price dropping at $50,000 and no one's going to fucking buy that shit quality.
Wow.
Gallerati takes the W. You can't keep a good man down.
No.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me.
Yeah.
Which, of course you were.
Oh, yeah. All right, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis Ellis, joined as ever by Julio Gallerati.
What up?
We've got Ryan, and we've got Chris. And Julio is wearing his new Bad Bunnies. Mm-hmm. The old bunnies, which you purchased.
I purchased them.
On a whim from watching his music video a number of times.
Correct.
I wish I could say I've never done that, but that feels all too relatable.
Dude, I got to be honest. The glasses, while they are sick, I feel like I need to be, like, have a Birkin bag on my elbow, even though I'm a man and holding a little puppy. That's the vibe I'm getting from them.
Okay.
It feels very they feel very campy.
Mm-hmm.
Like perhaps if I were invited to the Met Gala, which, don't see that invite coming anytime soon. But maybe I can save it for that. Will I return them? It's unclear.
Oh, you have the ability to return them?
I believe I have a couple weeks to return them.
Well, you'd better not scratch them up.
Well, by the time this episode is out, the video that I will have made using them will be out as well. I intend to use them for... I used them for a promo video for my shows down south.
Sunglass Hut used to have a 3-month return policy, no questions asked.
That's crazy.
As long as the sunglasses were in fine shape.
And gets you through the entire summer.
I spent a couple of years renting for free sunglasses from Sunglass Hut. I seriously did. And you get to a point where you start to feel kind of gross about it.
Well, dude, the good thing is that you get to a point where the effort of going through all that is actually more expensive than the dollar amount.
Depends on the sunglasses, but yes.
True, but still, dude. Even if they're $400, it seems like a lot of mental effort and physical effort to be like, I can't fuck these up. I won't. It's
right.
And then like the people who return their TV 2 years later, who think they're like geniuses, I still think that the big company is winning on that one by having a winning return policy, by being flexible.
I wonder. It's a good question. I know that LL Bean, near and dear to my heart, had to revise their, the policy that was the heartbeat of their company, which was lifetime returns. They had to change that because people were buying a pair of blue jeans from them 40 years ago, wearing holes into them through hard labor. And then 40 years later, bringing them back and saying, I'm not happy with these anymore.
Oh, my God. Imagine there's like a YouTube video. I wore these pants in every country in the world and returned them still.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the sisterhood of the traveling LL Bean jeans. And I find that to be a gross abuse of a very nice policy. In fact, we used to work with a guy named Office Manager Brett, who was a very well-known figure here at Barstool mostly for messing things up, even though he was a really good guy and he was actually quite able. But one time he bragged to me that his grandmother would buy things from LL Bean, own them for 13, 15 years, and then return them. And I wrote a blog about how much I disliked his grandmother. I seriously did. Pissed me off.
It seems a little taking advantage.
LL Bean is the heartbeat of the town I grew up in.
Oh, yeah.
Freeport, Maine. It provides a ton of jobs for people there, and we used to go in there all the time, and I buy Christmas presents there, because it's open on Christmas Eve, so if you've been late on your Christmas shopping, you can do that. And it just pissed me off.
It's the pulse of your hometown.
Exactly. But speaking of presents, your birthday.
I had a big day, dude.
Big day for G.
Big day. Hit it. Went to this very fancy place and had a little spa day with a facial, and then went to dinner at one of the restaurants in the spot. That was phenomenal as well.
Wow.
Very fancy, very solid. Spa was great. Dude, it's funny. When you get a facial, I've only gotten a couple facials in my life. Now, the woman was very tricky with trying to get me to purchase extras. Now, technically, I'm not paying for them, but I'm not going to start tacking stuff onto the bill. That's not a very nice thing to do.
She tried to wagyu you.
Yeah, she tried to wagyu me.
Mm-hmm.
She did. And this is what she did. She goes, I have this air gun that, shoots hyaluronic acid into your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
And she goes, do you want it?
It's $180 an ounce.
Yeah. Then she goes, it's $100 extra. But she's made you go, And then she goes, it's 100. And then you have to go, And that's like humiliating. That's embarrassing. You seem like you're like, don't belong because you're not taking like they do that to you.
Of course they do. But you know something, Julio? When you can muster the strength to say no, I in my life have felt more power from abstaining from those upsells than the good I might feel from what those things add.
100%. So she caught me off guard initially, and I said yes.
Wow.
So 5 minutes go by, and then I'm like, okay. I started getting really, really stressed out. I'm like, Hillary has generously gifted you this day. You're just going to tack it onto the bill. Well, you can then pay for it, and it'll be fine. But I'm like, I don't want to pay for it. What's the point of enjoying this like wonderful complimentary day if I'm now paying hundreds of dollars for things? So I just go, the hyaluronic acid thing. You said it was like an air pressurized, like an air thing? She goes, yeah. I go, I had a bad reaction with my skin.
That's good.
Yeah. So then, 30 minutes later, she's like, for the mask, she's like, I have this algae thing. It has gold in it. And then instead of going, I just did nothing. I just went, and then she did nothing. And we just sat there. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, this is truly a gimmick.
It's a test of wills. It's a chicken fight.
Yeah. And
you
then
two chicken fought over the facial upsell.
And then, like enough time goes by, and I think then she eventually said something. She goes, it's also $100 extra. I said, no, I'm okay. Thanks.
It's like that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where he goes, and then you say this, and whoever speaks first loses.
Right. Exactly. It was exactly that. So anyway, I defeated her. It wasn't easy.
That's a big win.
It was a big win.
Man, she must have felt stupid.
What
a terrible salesperson.
It was awkward. And then actually we came upstairs after, I don't know why I took these off to reflect, but we went upstairs and she like came up with me and then she just stood there for a while. And I'm like, clearly gratuity goes on the bill itself. Like, why is she just standing here? Maybe she's just being attentive and good and waiting to be dismissed or something. Like, dude, it was weird. And then I was like, all right, thanks. Like, bye-bye.
Imagine if you'd said, you're dismissed.
You may go now.
Yeah.
So, dude, but whatever. It was really, really lovely, fancy day. I felt unworthy and felt very grateful to Hill Dog.
What was the best? What was the best stuff? Walk us through the best things.
Well, the pool was very nice,
which
I knew we threw up on one of our stories at one point.
Salt water or?
No, I don't think so.
No, they wouldn't.
I was walking around in there. That was nice. The locker room, the steam and sauna were solid. And then they have, the bucket where like you pull it and cold water comes on you. It's like a giant bucket. So this was cool because it was like an evolved version of that. You pull it, but it's like a ceremonial thing. Like the bucket being there and the rope are just for a decor because the water actually shoots out from the bottom in different like hoses from the bottom of the bucket. You've seen that?
No.
Oh, okay. You had familiarity in your reaction. I was like, oh, because I had never seen that before. I thought that was cool. And then, dude, but one thing that was funny, a lot of pikers running around that place, dude.
Oh, really?
A lot of guys on their phone being like, 150 is not going to get it done.
Yeah.
Actual quote. Then I also heard, tell him to call up his lawyer. Like, I was like, guys, a lot of little dick energy.
Oh,
in that place.
Is that what that is?
A lot of little dick energy. Like guys who have crushed it as much as they can in their life because they can't overcome other things.
Oh.
Whether it be whatever it might be. So it was just kind of like a little bit of Turkey Central, but like didn't let that Didn't let that ruin my experience. Yeah, a lot of gobbling, dude.
Yeah.
And they offered all these really cool things that you couldn't just do. You had to like book it,
Uh-huh.
but like all these like experiences. And I asked the guy about it, and he was cool. Like we had established a rapport, like you said. And he looks around, and he goes, "You want to see it? And I'll show you. Come on." And I was like, oh. So he like took. I don't know if he was supposed to do that, but he took me in the back, showed me all the stuff. It was like a private like roof deck outside with like a hot tub and a cold plunge that you have to arrange, and like a hammam where you can do like an experience. Everything was pretty cool.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Turkish style sort of like steam bath. This situation.
Did they have an outdoor pool?
I don't know. I'm not sure if they have an outdoor pool.
When he said, "Do you want to see it?" What did he mean? See the rest of the facility?
Yeah, because you can't just go in there, I think.
I see.
So we went. We had a nice time. And it was great, dude. Active relaxation. That's what it's all about. Chilling, knowing you're going to chill, bringing activities. I brought reading materials, putzing around.
That's nice.
It was nice.
Did you spend the full day there?
No, I probably went around 3:30, and my facial was at 7.
PM?
Yeah.
Wow. And then you met for dinner?
Yeah, directly after.
And did Hill Dog meet you for dinner?
Yes.
And how was the food?
Very good.
Yeah, boy, you've really bouged it up lately.
I've bouged it up hard.
Bougie
dude.
Juji.
I'm a bougie boy.
Bougie Juji.
Bougie Juji, crushing it. Yeah, I felt like a very special princess. And I was.
It's a nice feeling. What a nice birthday.
I
Wow.
was a special princess.
That's really nice.
Thanks,
On
dude.
my birthday this year, I spent the day flying home from Chicago. That was
How
my
was that?
birthday. You know, non-eventful. Just another day that went by.
But had you earned significantly in your Chicago endeavor?
Yeah, I was happy with the weekend, but I saw a meme recently that said, "Why is it that men really don't care about their birthdays anymore?" And then there was a funny response, something like, "Why would I want to be reminded of the day that brought me into this hell?" It's pretty funny. Why would I want to celebrate the day that started all this shit? I wish I didn't relate to that.
That's good. And there's another one. That's good at least because it's cheeky enough that it's like not ultimately serious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hearing people tell me that they don't like their birthday because they don't like getting older. That bothers me. I think that we should have an attitude adjustment on that.
Yeah.
Because it's great to get older. You have succeeded and you've done all the things you've done and you're going to do more stuff.
Right.
This idea that you can no longer do valuable things because you're past a certain age is completely wrong. It's purely anticipatory. Now, I understand that throughout life we experience significant loss as it goes on, and I understand the idea of carrying on with life with an irreplaceable person missing. I understand that, fine. But otherwise, like, there's life to be lived, folks. Get out there, crush it. You're smarter, you know more shit. You're better than you were before. You know more stuff than you used to. Don't be stubborn, learn, and go enjoy yourself.
Okay, so I want to ask you about everything you just said.
Mhm.
Because my wife is incredibly consistent in her messaging about stay present, live in the moment, you only get one life, all of those wonderful things, those broad concepts that should help us to live better lives. But sometimes I get annoyed hearing them.
Okay, so let's talk about mine, though. What about mine annoy you? And it's not, I don't take it personally.
I wouldn't have said that yours annoyed me because you weren't even applying it to me. I think it's good messaging for everybody. But
so you're saying if you were to be like, fuck, da-da-da, and I were to be like, you know what, dude? Be present.
Yeah, I think I think these high-minded ideals, these wonderful mantras to live by, are not solutions to every problem. I think that sometimes when someone says, I'm going through this, or I'm struggling with this, and then someone's response is, you gotta take some deep breaths, you gotta center yourself, you gotta improve your energy, you need to remember that life is short. Yeah, I get it. I wish that I could have those big goals, those big lessons solve my feeling right now.
Dude, it's also funny that life is short is the problem. Remember that life is short. I'm remembering. And guess what? A lot of it's gone by and it's not going how I wanted.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes they're not even solutions so much as they are highlights of the problem. But, I think that someone telling you should stay present, live for the moment, you can't get too bogged down by this, doesn't help you figure out how you're supposed to pay rent that month.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help you feel any better about a bad breakup you've gone through, or that you walked in on your husband cheating on you, whatever it is. I'm not sure, because I think a lot of people who are so good at remembering those lessons and living by them, sometimes they stay too macro. They're and I don't know. It's sometimes you gotta get into the weeds and provide more tangible, direct advice.
Like, thanks for that. How do I directly apply what you've just said to my life? Because a lot of the time, and to your point, people who say broad things like that. Now, granted, I stand by everything that I just said, and I'd be happy to talk about it in depth.
Can you run us back? Give me what you said one more time.
I forget specifically what the fuck I was saying, but something along the lines of this idea that getting older is bad because your best years are behind you.
Oh yeah, that was good. I like that.
You've done all your good stuff. You sort of like act as if there isn't valuable time to be spent, and that's just not right. It's not correct. For whatever reason that may be the case, a simple attitude adjustment can really make life more fruitful for people, in my opinion. And sometimes people will be like, well, so much time has gone by, I wasted all this time. Fine, but that doesn't mean you can't look forward and figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your time, because what you did is over. You already did that. I guess you fucked up, whatever, but that doesn't mean you can't correct. Not even correct, just live a way that'll make you feel better, knowing that what you've already done wasn't for you. And maybe that is what it took for you to learn that and get where you want to be, or where you're going to be. You know what I mean?
So this, to me, verges towards, don't live in the past.
That's part of it. I think don't live in the past is a strong part.
But let me tell you something, Julio. Sometimes thinking about good moments from my past are ways to make me happy.
That's great. But we're not talking about ways to make you happy. We're talking about your birthday making you sad. And then,
right. Okay.
You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, you know what? That was fun when we won the lacrosse championship, and, Becky Baker gave me the old treatment. That was a great night. Becky Baker's the hottest girl I've ever hooked up with. That was so sick. Wow. But that's not in some way like going at odds with the fact that you're like, oh, another year's going by. Oh, it's my birthday. Don't tell anybody, because.
Yeah. Well, then can we shift it then? And because I do want to ask you about specifically, do you think that, people say don't live in the past, don't live in the past. Well, but they also say, memories are powerful, and,
I think you can
appreciate where you've been. Or
you can accumulate the past. And that's why getting older is awesome. You've done that, and now you're going to do this too. You have that. You have that moment. You did that moment. You lived it.
It's funny. I think now about when I do live in the past, and at least right now coming to mind, it's not that I'm not really ruminating on mistakes or ways that my life might have gone differently had I made a different decision. Typically, when I go revisit my past, it's fondness that brings me there. And I do think that's a healthy exercise.
Totally. And it's important to have memories. Like, if you're only looking forward and not appreciating the things that you've done, like, what was the point of doing them if you just don't remember them,
Right.
It's nice to collect memories, right?
I think so. It's seasons really tend to send me down memory lane.
Seasons?
When it's fall, I have this lovely memory whenever in the fall in New York, or if I'm in the Northeast or something, and you see leaves changing and you step across a crunchy fall leaf from a maple tree.
Ah.
I have this memory of my mother and me, as a school project, we had to collect 5 or 6 different leaves in fall to bring into school from 6 different trees. And my mother and I were out with a little basket collecting leaves at our feet on our property, and shuffling my feet through the leaves, and I was probably wearing my red LL Bean coat, which had my name and our phone number on the back, because at that time I don't think we could afford to lose coats. And it's just a very strong, fun memory. It's the kind of memory where I think if I were taking Defense Against the Dark Arts, the professor would tell me to conjure that memory as a way of conjuring a Patronus charm to defeat a Dementor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what he would say. Focus on a good memory. I think that's the memory I would go to.
Dude, your Horcrux joke is a pretty good one.
Oh, thank you.
That's a good one. That's
Thanks.
a standout to me.
Oh, that's very kind. Were you, remind me, a Harry Potter guy?
I mean, yeah, I loved it. But
Did you read the books?
No.
Ah.
Which is just fun, but I couldn't wait to see the movie. You know what I mean? I don't know where that puts me.
And you saw all the movies.
And shout out to Emily, one of Hillary's best friends, who gave me all the audiobooks. I regretfully have still not listened to them.
Oh, Emily is not happy to hear that.
Emily, I'm sorry. I do intend to listen to them. I just need to get it into my groove, you know?
Did you watch all the movies?
All of them, yeah.
Okay. You know what? You're
it's something.
You're enough.
I'm a tier 2 member.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you read all the books?
Oh, and then some. I not only read every book, I read every book within the first week of it coming out.
Wow.
It was must-have material.
So are the movies shit because of that?
No, the movies are great. Nothing against the movies.
And I've heard that they leave out really intricate, meaty stories about certain characters.
And they have to. The books were 750 pages.
Right.
How are you supposed to cover that in a 2.5, 3-hour movie?
No, totally. But that is the argument that I've heard from some people as to why the books are so much better or whatever. Because of all the detail.
Look, I'm not going to say that the books are better, but I will say that I'm glad that I read the books before I saw the movies.
Yeah.
Because what I find is, I think we've talked about this, that if I were to watch a movie before I read a book, then as I'm reading the book, what I'm reading is just populated by the images from the movies.
Right.
I am picturing and I'm building Harry Potter in my mind as Daniel Radcliffe.
Right. That's so interesting.
Rather than, it's the book has been cast for me.
Yeah. That is a very, very, I've never heard anybody say that. That's a very good point.
Well, I'm on it today.
Yeah, you are. You sure are, Francis.
Guys, Father's Day is right around the corner, and if you haven't gotten that incredible father in your life a present yet, we have the answer for you in Manscaped. Guys, they've got the new Lawnmower 4.0, and that is going to be part of the Performance Package 4.0, and he'll thank you for helping him tame his beast. It's a win-win situation for both mom and dad. Everybody has that story in their life from when they first saw their dad naked. And it can also be a very traumatic experience when you're a young boy. And I remember when that happened for me, and I can tell you that if my dad had had access to the Lawnmower 4.0 at that young age, why, I'd probably have been a lot less traumatized. I sure wish he had. And I can give it to him now, which I think at this late stage in life, he'd appreciate. He's hip. He gets it. He knows that we are all bringing it in a little closer to the chest of coals. So let's all send it back to our original home where we came from. Guys, get your dad the Lawnmower 4.0 or the Performance Package 4.0 for Father's Day this year. That's 20% off with code OOPS and free shipping. Go to manscaped.com. Use code OOPS, 20% off plus free shipping. Don't forget that you came from your dad's balls. This year, show your original home some love with Manscaped.
So live in the moment to you is the same thing that brush up is to Hillary when I'm giving her tennis lessons. it may potentially be true and valuable information, but for some reason, it's just not working.
Yeah. I think that when you are clearly not receiving advice the way that it is intended to be given or to be taken, then the person giving the advice needs to try a different track.
Right. So what would work better for you?
I think, honestly, probably saying, all right, breathe 5 deep breaths with me. Take 5 deep breaths. We're going to do it together, and count it out. And then maybe, hey, now I want you to take inventory of the good things in your life.
Oh, that's nice.
Think about the dogs. Think about your wife. Think about your apartment. Think about the things you love.
Think about Julio.
Yeah, the joy of your podcast, or whatever. Find a good memory, find a good thing, and just get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as you focus on these things, ask yourself after some breathing and some of this, does the sting of what's bothering you still feel quite as strong?
That was nice.
And I think even just knowing or realizing that the thing that was bothering me or the things that were bothering me are not as strong would make me feel that I had power to diminish my worries.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that is really valuable to me, is having agency over my thoughts. Because sometimes I feel like my brain is this separate part of my body that can just really malfunction, and I have to kind of ride it out. I have to white knuckle it until we're through. And that can mean maybe go to sleep and hope that when you wake up things are better, or whatever it may be. But finding in the moment these useful practical exercises to take the wheel back
right.
are much more useful than kind of these hippie bullshit.
Yeah. Something about being told something that isn't helping isn't really annoying. It can come off as condescending. And especially if it's just like a blanket, very vague, unspecific statement.
Yeah.
I can see what would be annoying about that. That could annoy me too. And especially it's like being prescribed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I do get it. But I still stand by my birthday spiel because it's fun. Birthday's fun. It's your big day. And every year you've done another one. That's a big accomplishment. You can die anywhere you are right now. There's some way you could kill yourself immediately. There's a perilous path anywhere. Surviving this long is fun.
That's another one.
It's good.
That's a good one. And what you're saying is a little different. But that's another one that I struggle with.
You could die tomorrow?
Well, yeah, like you could die tomorrow. To me, you're basically saying you should be fearful and therefore happy.
Right.
You don't know. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Holy shit. Thanks for that. So you're telling me that that's supposed to improve my mood? The fear of a head-on violent collision that leaves my mangled carcass under the fucking underbody of public transportation?
Right.
And that some team of morticians will have to scrape my parts and my ligaments off the asphalt and reassemble me for public viewing at my funeral? No, that's not helping.
That's funny. I mean, yeah, I know I didn't exactly say that, but no, I just kind of mean like living another year is an accomplishment, And
when do we really start to feel that way?
I don't know. I feel that way now.
My mom turned 70, I remember, on her 70th birthday, and she said it was the first birthday where she really wasn't thrilled.
Interesting.
By the landmark of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, you really do think you're in the fourth quarter of your life.
Interesting. That's fair. I could see that.
What quarter are we in? Second quarter? Third?
I
think the second.
We're not at halftime yet?
I don't think so. I think halftime's like late 40s.
Late 40s?
Right?
You're talking.
I know not.
That means you plan to live till
no
98, 96?
No, but I don't think that I know the quarters are technically supposed to be of equal size, but for the purposes of this, I don't feel that way.
So the average lifespan of a man in the United
82?
States, 77.28 years. So 19.32 is the amount of years per quarter.
You can refer to it more. You can refer to it more as a season. I like, and that's one of the Lebanese guy I was telling you about.
That's nice.
Who made the joke? He's like, for a man who's in his autumn years, he always says that about himself.
Well, what is autumn? Autumn. So you're saying that?
So because seasons aren't of equal size all the time.
No, right. But what is autumn? Autumn. What's the end of your life? Winter.
Winter would be the end.
So the spring is your birth and your infancy and your youth.
So we're in the summer.
We're in the summer?
I think so.
I think you're in the late spring.
Really?
I think so. The halftime is, if we're doing it in
39?
quarters, just over
38.
6 months into your 38th year.
So then that would mean that I'm approaching.
You're approaching halftime.
I'm approaching halftime.
By the
but to me,
tables.
I don't do it that way. My seasons are skewed. Call that convenient. But I think that I will be in my summer years until the mid 40s, at which point I will enter the autumn years.
When do you plan to live to?
I don't know, dude. Hopefully long. The idea of not being alive bothers me. Like, I don't want to not be able to do stuff, dude. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like going to bed for that reason. I like I like doing stuff, dude. It's not fun. Going to bed isn't fun. Hillary always tells me that I'm 8 years old because of that.
You're not able to say that you need to go to bed because it will make the doing stuff more good?
I get that, and that's why I do it reluctantly. But I always fantasize about life without sleeping. How nice that would be. Because then in the middle of the night, you could do all the like boring stuff that you don't want to do when you're distracted by all the stimulation of all the people. So like I would edit all night.
People always tell you that Benjamin Franklin only slept about 4 hours a night, and that fact pisses me off so much.
Is it real, you think? Well, he was older, too. You sleep less as you get older.
Yeah, true, but I would assume it is real, and I guess my question is, I mean...
That was a stupid comment by me just now. He was older. He was just born old.
That fact only set in when he was old.
I'm making the assumption that came to be once he was the age of his picture on the dollar.
Yeah, I don't know that we know that.
We don't know that.
I don't know that we know that.
He may have always slept 4 hours.
But it's just not. My question to that would be, how much more effective would he have been president if he had slept more?
You say he would have been president?
Maybe. What more could he have accomplished if he'd allowed himself more sleep? Might he have been better at doing what he did?
It's interesting. Well, yeah, I've gotten on a much healthier sleep pattern, though, since my new apartment.
That's right.
I wake up naturally. And Hillary was joking today that sometimes she'll, like I told you, she'll like wake me up. Like I'll be like, and she'll just be like, hi.
Yeah.
She said that now her attempts to do that have been successful in this apartment, but in the last apartment they were not successful, which I didn't know because they weren't successful. I stayed asleep. And it feels nice to be on that natural cock-a-doodle-doo schedule, which I feel like Ben Franklin may have been on.
Right.
Early to bed, early to rise. But it sounds like late to bed, early to rise was the reality.
I don't know if he was going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 2 to get going, or, very Mark Wahlberg-esque of him.
Right.
It's very Wahlbergian.
He had to get a pump in before hitting the golf course.
Yes.
Well, dude, I think that is one of the good sayings. There's a lot of good. What's the word for that kind of saying?
A motto or a mantra?
I don't know. Like
what? Early to bed, early to rise keeps a person
healthy, wealthy, and wise. Like there are times where I've gone to bed early and woken up really early and been like, damn, that I get why that's a saying.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good sayings like that, dude. So I get why the live in the moments may not land, but there are some good ones. Sometimes sayings are a saying for a reason, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an idiom?
An idiom.
An idiom is, well, yeah, probably that would be an idiom, but an idiom, in my understanding, is more of a, I don't want to say a cliche, maybe?
Raining cats and dogs.
Yeah.
That's an example.
Yeah. Well, dude, I don't want to be too fucking fluffy in this episode.
Saying.
So, dude, we've been struggling a bit to cook in our new apartment just because our kitchen's so small. It's hard to like go from a big kitchen to a small kitchen. My mom and Zio Butch came over the other day, and they, of course, made sure to tell us a story about how their mother cooked for 6 people in a significantly smaller kitchen. And
Good.
while that was helpful for morale and spirit, at the end of the day, it is still hard to bumble around with a bunch of unnecessary ingredients, which is why HelloFresh is the key to success.
It's the answer, man.
It is the answer.
It's the answer to however your cooking situation is set up. It's the answer to impressing ladies when you want to show them, hey, I know what I'm doing.
Big time.
I can cook for you, you bad little girl.
Yeah, and instead of having to massacre an entire ginger root, you're provided with a pre-sliced and pre-portioned amount of ginger so that you don't have to sit there hacking away and scoring and shredding and shaving.
Don't do all that.
They get you the exact amount of each thing that you need.
Yeah.
And even while, you might still have to cook it, you'd be amazed at how many things you're suddenly cooking all at once. I'm cooking 4 things simultaneously that I've never cooked before. I'm frying shrimp while cooking quinoa and, doing some other thing to make a delicious rock shrimp tempura stir fry. There's just all sorts of amazing activities that can be done when you have HelloFresh in the mix. And I encourage you, if you're intimidated by the cooking process, to start there. It's a great place to start.
I love it. All that talk of that rock shrimp tempura dish is making my mouth rock hard.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah. HelloFresh cares about quality. That's why their seasonal ingredients are picked at peak ripeness and travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/oops16 and use code oops16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh.com/oops16, code oops16.
I can easily make it. I'm going to show some of my character flaws now, instead of being this preachy fucking douchebag. I've been really enjoying watching my old apartment rot on the market, too. They were asking for too much initially when they tried to float it. He wanted some scenario where he like kept us in a little longer, month to month. And it's like, he can't have your cake and eat it too. He put it on for way more than it was worth. Nobody bought it. And he keeps price dropping at $50,000 and no one's going to fucking buy that shithole, dude.
Wow.
Colorado takes the W. You can't keep a good man down.
No. How often are you checking the price listing of it?
Occasionally. I checked today. I would say probably every 3 months. Or sorry, every 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And today I checked it and I'll just look at it and I'll be like,
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. It's not even, well, I guess maybe it's Schadenfreude, but
what does that mean again?
Schadenfreude is taking pleasure at the fall of others, at the demise of others, or the failures of others. But I think I don't know that I think if you have been faulted or if you've been wronged and then you take the pleasure, I don't know if it applies anymore. I could be wrong about that.
Well, that's an emotion that a lot of comedians have and should try their best to part with.
Absolutely. I was performing stand-up last night, and it occurred to me it had been a little while since I had. And I was feeling very burned out about it. And I went, begrudgingly to do it. Yeah. And I went and I had some good sets and immediately felt more uplifted, but also taking a moment to be away from it on stage. I was much more flexible. I was trying new things again, and that was what made it fun.
Nice.
But golly, dude, I saw the same people that I always see there, and they came up and said hi to me, and we had the same conversations that we always do.
This moment is the reason why when comedians are afraid to take a little bit of time off, why they shouldn't be afraid to do that. Because your little 7-day vacation, you're going to get back and have the same conversation with the same exact people. Don't take 2 years off, but you can take 10 days off.
Yeah, they didn't go anywhere.
You're not going to fall behind.
Right. Right. I just found it it made me realize that I think a lot of comedians never leave the clubs, Monday through Sunday. Not necessarily because they feel that they're improving as a result, but yeah, that it allows them to immerse themselves in a reality that is self-affirming. And as soon as you step off that treadmill, you realize, oh shit, maybe I can actually improve more by not being there all the time, by living my life, by writing at home. But
you got to find the balance for sure, and it's a individual thing. There isn't a one size fits all for it, and it needs to constantly be managed and checked in on, which sucks, but is the case.
I was working on this new idea that I have, and I have no problem sharing it here because it's not a bit yet. But this idea of I don't really understand people who think there's nobility in being brutally honest. who people who say, I call it like it is, or I keep it real. I'll tell you to your face. Why? Why would you do that? Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Talk shit behind my back.
Yeah.
By all means, have at it.
Funny.
I don't have any problem with people keeping negative thoughts about me from me. It's so much better in life to me to lie and be friendly.
Dude, that's so funny.
Why not? Why wouldn't? Do you know how much farther you can get in life by pretending to be friendly? And somehow we've decided that it's dishonest to do so.
It's two-faced.
Yeah, or it's like professional. Imagine going into a job interview and being the only candidate to be
you
like,
should use that line. Did you do that? Professional. It's professional.
It's professional.
No, but did you say that when you were doing
I don't think I did.
That's funny.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking about,
It's toxic. No, it's professional.
I didn't say any of this on stage. This is already going better than it did last night. It did not really land with the audience, if I'm honest. It's too abstract at this time. But I'm just thinking about a guy who goes into a job interview and is like, if I'm honest, this isn't my first choice. I'm not thrilled with the leadership, or like, I don't really need this, but I want to have options, or, or just having anything negative say and feeling proud that you kept it real.
Yeah. Silly.
I mean, as opposed to someone who goes in and plays the game, smile, wear an outfit that you don't typically wear but is professional, or in anything in life, a first date. We're all lying until we're comfortable.
It's true.
Right? Or we should be.
Yeah, 100%.
I think people that are brutally honest and take pride in that are just assholes.
Dude, my grandfather, bless his heart, he may have crossed the line a bit with that kind of stuff. I think one time he was known to have said to a woman that she looks like she eats a lot of mozzarella. Which is just funny that, like, how Italian we are, and that mozzarella was the thing that was used as an example.
Yeah.
He was a guy who kept it real. And
Yeah.
sometimes, listen, man, if you're going to keep it real, you're going to end up having to deal with a lot of pushback and putting out the fires that you've started.
Right.
You keep it too real.
Right.
Listen, I keep it real, man. Okay? Congratulations. Your life must be very difficult.
You're making it harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would advise you to keep it less real.
Keep it less real.
Keep it less real. Perfectly fine. And by the way, most of us don't really keep it real.
Yeah.
Like we get to a point, I think you get to a point where you have to decide who you are, and that to not keep it real at that point might be a something you can't live with, or you are being untrue to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make a decision. And people, you can still be a real person. You can still be true to yourself by letting a lot go, by not correcting every wrong or every dishonest or incorrect thing that's said to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Pick your battles properly so that you can, dude, what would summer be without a fresh pair of shades?
I don't know. Probably blinding.
Blinding indeed. And that's why we recommend going out and getting yourself a pair of Shady Rays sunglasses.
That's exactly right. Before we started working with Shady Rays, I had headaches all the time.
Well, the Shady Rays, they offer a wide variety of styles, of hip styles.
They're cool.
That are cool. And that's the thing about sunglasses that are interesting. It's like sometimes a pair of sunglasses just looks good and another time it just doesn't, and you can't figure out why.
Right.
It might be the same, like to the naked eye, it looks like the same pair of shades, but one looks better than the other. Shady Rays has all the sick, trendy styles. My go-to pair of sunglasses this summer is a pair of Shady Rays. You guys have probably seen me wearing them before. They're very sick, very stylish, and a really solid, affordable product.
I don't disagree. I've always had a hard time finding sunglasses that fit my face because I have a large head, and I find that the Shady Rays has everything that you could need in terms of making sure that you look cool as hell with your eyes protected from those harmful UV rays.
Totally. And they're UV rays, Shady Rays.
How about that?
How about that?
Mm.
I suspect they've had that in mind. But dude, we also enjoy when you guys send us pics of yourselves and then your Shady Rays. A couple people have done that.
Yes, that's right.
Pretty cool. But it's a great deal too, exclusively for our listeners. Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code OOPS for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And they're already in a very affordable price point, so definitely recommend doing that. Go to shadyrays.com, use code OOPS, 50% off, 50, for 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses.
I think you're very good at this, by the way. You're
what?
very agreeable. You are friendly, and you are able to let things that bother people roll off you. And I say that as a compliment. I hope that's how you take it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I didn't take it really as anything. I wonder though, because I think that to a degree, things actually don't bother me sometimes.
Then even better.
I
was having a conversation with someone last night who just was incapable of reading my body language.
Like you were trying to get out of there type of thing?
Well, I stopped talking. My eyes glazed over. They were just telling me a bit that they were working on, and it went on and on and on, and it was a terrible bit.
Oh no!
It was hateful. It was homophobic. It was small-minded, and the person was like, "I don't know why this isn't working." And I had to tell myself, "Don't tell him why it's not working."
Yeah, this is you don't need to deal with that. That's not your.
Don't tell him. Maybe it's because you're trying to do a bit that, one, isn't funny, and two, is out of time. You're not in the right time right now for that. And if you aren't aware of that, you're in the wrong profession.
You're fucked.
You're in the wrong gig, dude.
Yeah. All right, so dude, here's a guy. I ran into a keeping it real guy. I encountered a keeping it realer on my flight to Montreal, and I knew he was going to be one because sometimes people start to give little indications of their true colors before they've done anything. And this guy gets on the plane and he's just making audible noise for some reason. He's going, I'm like, here we go. Like,
there we go.
And it's a small plane. I know this guy is going to be a problem. He's looking. He goes, 3A. Sits down, realizes he's 3C. He goes, I'm actually 3C. So now he's next to me. I'm like, okay, great. But whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. It's a short flight. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's whatever. The woman comes over, who's like the flight attendant or whatever. She's like, sir, can you put your laptop underneath the seat in front of you? You can't keep it in the front thing. He goes, you gotta. She goes, sir, I didn't make the rules. He reluctantly does it. Okay. The woman, I was actually surprised how straightforward this woman was. She goes, I didn't make the rules. I was like, okay. Then on the descent, his thing is there again. And the woman goes, sir, could you please put your laptop under the seat? And he goes, and she goes, the thing can be like a weapon.
Right.
And he goes, "Did you just call my laptop a weapon? You just called that a weapon." And he looks at me. He goes, "Did you hear that? Did you hear her? She just called my laptop a weapon."
Yeah.
And I went, "Well, she was," and I was about to be like, "She was just saying that if it were to get dislodged from the front thing, it would become a weapon. She wasn't insisting that you were going to make it a weapon or that it doubles as a weapon." She wasn't saying any of that.
She doesn't think you're a hacker.
Yeah, she doesn't think, exactly. She doesn't think you're hacking. She doesn't think you're going to beat me over the head with it. She thinks that if it gets dislodged due to unpredicted turbulence, it's going to hurt someone. That's what she meant. But as I'm going, I just go, "I didn't hear what she said." And I turned forward. He goes,
You
"What?"
kept it real.
I just put my headphone back in. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this guy. I don't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
Him being a problem, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I didn't hear. And then, dude, we land, and you know how sometimes on the tarmac, the thing, whatever that's called, we tried to figure out what it's called.
Oh,
the
jetway.
Tunnel?
The jetway, tunnel,
There's
whatever.
a bunch of names for it.
Whatever that
Tarmac's
thing-
fine.
So-
I called it the gangplank.
The gangplank. As the gangplank is extending to the exit of the plane, it's making a siren is having. You know, sometimes that happens, and the guy just goes, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck?" And I'm like, dude, oh God, this guy is a keep it realer. And I'm like, what is this guy's life like? What? How many fights is he going to get into before he gets home?
That is a guy who, when he's driving on the highway, does not stop talking for 1 second. This fucking guy. "Oh, hello." You know, it's that. God help anybody if he's an Uber driver.
Hello? This fucking guy. Dude, totally. And he really sucked. What a shitty guy.
Yeah, that's not a good guy.
That guy sucks. And yeah, I was just happy. At one point he asked me, he's like, "Are you American?" Because he thought I didn't speak English. And I just went, I was like, "Oh, this is good. We need to roll with this."
Mm-hmm.
But I was happy that because that's the problem with people like that. They bring you in to their problems.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of this, dude.
No, right.
I'm just listening. And
Yeah.
it's not that much of a problem for me.
No.
So I don't get why it is for you, bro.
I thought you handled that very well.
Thank you.
I admire you just absolutely stonewalling
Yeah.
him.
You know what? This is not worth it, dude.
Yeah.
You're a punk.
I started thinking about how they should make a pair of headphones that specifically are for the purpose of, I don't want to talk to you. Just the largest over-ear, comically gigantic earpieces. What'd you say? I'm sorry, I can't hear a single fucking
Dude,
thing.
that's funny.
I'm wearing these to block out the world.
It's literally just like a Halloween mask. You
Yeah.
just have a different head on. What?
Yeah.
Dude, that is so funny.
I like that.
So I'm working on this bit, dude. Let me talk. It's
Yeah.
I'm joking.
But by the way, I will say you mentioned that all that guy, and it is a little bit of a new hero fantasy for me.
Which one?
Well, we've been seeing so many people go viral lately for being fed up on airplanes, and we've started to see that other passengers are becoming citizen police.
I love it.
And I am thinking, if I'm in your shoes and he's sitting next to me and he starts to bark back at the flight attendant, there's a chance that when she leaves, I might suggest that he start drinking. Because I want to get that guy going to the point where he becomes a real problem. And I might be egging him on just so that he, hopefully, at some point, he'll stand up in the aisle, start screaming, maybe really threatening, so that I can subdue him.
I like that. Dude.
I want to subdue
real quick.
I'd like to subdue an unruly passenger on an airplane. That boy, you want to talk about? I mean, I think Delta's probably bumping me to a very good status.
Immediately?
Yeah.
You think you get diamond for that?
Bro, have I told you about 360?
No.
There is a secret tier
A
of
Delta?
status on Delta.
What?
And someone messaged me about it.
Where is this? Is it in the app?
They
Probably
don't
not.
talk about it.
Wow. It's above diamond?
it's above diamond. It's above everything, bro.
Wow.
It
Jesus.
is. I mean,
Illuminati.
it's secret.
Jeez.
But you'll see that there is a when you go in certain airports at JFK, they have it where it says Sky Priority, and then there's another entrance for 360 people.
Wow.
But dude, I'm gonna read you because some guy sent me a long description. He had it,
Oh shit.
and I'm gonna just read you that. Okay, so he goes. I said, hey man, I saw you are Delta 360. I am desperate to know more, because he had responded to a tweet I had, and he goes, the 3 years I had it, I was invited. I traveled a ton internationally, and my company spent over $125,000 to $130,000 in airfare alone. I essentially hit double diamond 3 years in a row.
Black diamond.
Yeah. Then with COVID, blah, blah, it was extended 2 years, so I had it for 5 years. Lost it this year, and I'm now down to diamond only, sadly. But here's what it entails. I get Porsche service on 20 to 30% of my flights.
So you get like free greeter.
When you have a connection, if you are going to a different like gate or terminal, and I guess if you get off the plane and you have to get onto the tarmac, they will pick you up in a Porsche and drive you to your plane.
I've done it before. Have you?
No.
You can pay for it. It comes with greeter service. Like you can pay for that.
Wow.
It's like it's not as expensive as you think either. Just if you ever want to just do it for the purpose of a blog or something.
I was upgraded to first class 99% of the time.
International too?
I didn't.
Sorry.
I'm not sure.
Sorry.
He may say.
I'll stop talking.
I had my own 800 number to call Delta. It would literally ring twice, and it was, hello, Mr. Williams.
Wow.
I had Sky Club access and could bring up to 4 people with me anywhere and everywhere.
Have your birthday party at the Sky Club, dude.
1 year, Delta sent my wife a birthday gift with a handwritten note. I would have handwritten notes at my seat waiting for me on all flights from the pilot. Many times the captain would come to my seat and personally thank me for my loyalty. He says you get 3 or 4 bag tags, and he was willing to trade one of them to me for a Barstool hoodie, which I think I'm going to take him up on. Because
Nice.
your bags get like brought out
sick.
instantly. If I needed to get home a day early or stay a day late, I could do so without penalty 100% of the time. If Delta saw that I was 360, they would move heaven and earth to get me on the flight I wanted. I was never denied. When you walk off the plane, they are holding a sign with your name on it. You walk off onto the tarmac and you're whisked into a waiting Porsche that drives you to the next gate, or to the back entrance of the Sky Club closest to your gate if you have time. He said they've held planes for him on tight connections.
Wow.
Him alone.
Badass.
So pretty fucking cool. So I don't know. I guess Delta, that's what I am gunning for, and I don't
360
think
Francis.
I'm gonna ever get there though.
You might. How many are you at right now this year?
I'm not gonna even get diamond, dude.
How many flights are you at though?
I think I'm at like 24,
What? That's a lot. You're at 24 already?
maybe 22 or 24, something like that.
Fuck, dude. No shot.
Yeah, I have nothing though
24 is good. Dude.
coming up.
Yeah, but like you always say that, but then you end up still consistently ripping.
We'll see.
Chris, what about you?
I haven't flown since that stint. I have like 7 or 8. I forget.
I'm around there too. I think I have 9. Ryan?
I have 12.
Fuck.
Wow.
Most I've ever flown.
In a year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sick.
We're
Sick.
only in the end of the second quarter of the year.
Did I tell you that I ran
Badass.
into Ryan on my block in Dumbo,
Really?
and he was on the phone, and I
He's
go
yelling at my mom.
I go, Ryan, and he goes, he gave me a 1 sec.
Oh man.
I'm like, what?
That's good, dude. That's good.
Well, I'm so happy to see you randomly on the street, and you don't even have the time for me.
I was in the middle of something with my mom.
He
She-
was having a day with his lovely girlfriend.
Yeah, we went to Dumbo, met up with my parents. My mom was in West Elm trying to buy something, and she was trying to get the last 4 digits of Victoria's phone number, and I told him to her clearly 3 times, and she didn't hear it, so that's why I had to give Francis the finger.
Yeah.
I gave you a fist bump while I was still on the
Yeah, he
phone.
gave me a fist bump.
One sec,
And then we
one
chatted.
sec, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been
I'm sorry.
big dicked by Ryan more than I was. And by the way, let me tell you another thing, Julio. You wearing those sunglasses, I can't see your eyebrows, so I'm losing a lot of your facial expressions. I'm having a hard time reading you. We don't get much. I can't tell if you're raising your eyebrows, or squinting or winking. Yeah. It's very coy.
Yeah, good.
You'd be a good poker player with those things on.
I love it. Have any facts with Ryan
Yeah,
to
a couple.
tack
Facts
on?
with Ryan.
He was highin'.
He was high.
Trying. Sunglasses Hut. Now they have a 30-day return policy.
Wow.
I forget if it was last Tuesday's or last Thursday's episode, but you mentioned a rounding applause on the TV show Ed when the guy gives up his first class seat.
Yeah, I don't think it was that show.
It wasn't, because I scanned through every episode yesterday for about an hour on YouTube. 4 seasons. The first 3 seasons had 22 episodes, and the last season had 17, and they were 44 minutes long. And I was just scanning through, and everything I saw was just a bowling alley and just high school prom stuff. So it was not on that show. That's just an update for everyone.
Above and beyond.
Dude,
Call of Duty.
I'm so sorry I sent you on that. I can't even, I don't know. I mean,
Facts with Ryan.
I'm trying to do my
He was
due
trying.
diligence.
Yeah.
I was trying there.
Yeah, he was
No one's fault. I
combing.
just want everyone to know that don't watch the show for that scene. You're not going to find it. Harry Potter books have a total of 3,407 pages and 1,084,147 words across all the books.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And then Benjamin Franklin, he slept 7 hours. Went to bed at 10 p.m., woke up at 5 a.m.
That's interesting. Then
Yeah.
I have the wrong historical figure because there is one who only
I think you're
slept
thinking of Einstein, maybe. No?
4 or 5 hours a night.
I know.
I thought it was like
I thought
an
it was the same
American
too.
president
Who
or a
famously slept 4 hours a night.
yeah. Actually,
It says Einstein slept 10 hours.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
I guess I'm wrong. I thought Franklin really only slept a couple of hours a night.
Fucking Franklin.
Well, anyway, interesting. Some slightly muddy facts with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Some muddying. There was a little bit of mud on those facts. Not your fault, our fault. Julio, where are you performing stand-up comedy?
13th, 14th, 15th of June. I'm at Good Nights in Raleigh. Then I am at Zany's in Nashville, followed by the Punchline in Atlanta. Those tickets are starting to really move, so grab them while you can. Then in July, I am at Vulcan Gas Company in Austin, Texas. A bunch of fun stuff coming down the pipe later in the year as well. Francis, what about you?
Awesome, guys. I'm coming to Pittsburgh for the first time. Can't wait for that. June 8th and 9th at City Winery. And then in July, I will be in Tacoma in the Seattle region, as well as Spokane. That is July 19th and 20th. All tickets at francisellis.com. Lots of fun dates coming up in the fall, too. Boston and New York and some places like that. So keep your eyes peeled. Appreciate you all. That's Oops the Podcast, and we will see you guys soon.